Hola, gracias por acompañarme esta noche. Me llamo Lunanate, and what I'm creating for you today, tonight, for the collective is a hopefully relaxing video, ASMR style by proxy energy work session to support emotional intelligence. Alright, I'm very excited to chat about this. I think it's a very important topic and one I've been looking forward to creating for some time. Alright, so I want to take a moment and share that we do have a sponsor for this video. I want to express my thanks for this opportunity. I've worked with this sponsor before and really love the service, so I'm happy to share it with you. You may have guessed it from my intro, and I know some of you are probably like, the intro is different. It's just a little treat, okay? Just a little treat. I know I'm not quite there yet. I'm practicing. But in quarantine, I have been very much looking to develop myself. I've been exercising. That's kind of new. I've been listening to audiobooks and reading more and journaling more and taking care of myself as much as I can. But I've also been using Babbel to learn Spanish. I'm still learning, and I definitely skip some days for sure, but I really do love the service and I appreciate how fun it is. I always find it very fun when I open the app. So I'm just going to share some screenshots with you here and speak to you a little bit about the service. So Babbel is a wonderful language app that I've thoroughly enjoyed over the last month or so that I've had it. Again, I'm really using this right now to develop myself, particularly in these quarantine times. Like, what better time to invest in yourself, and develop, and learning a new language is something I've always wanted to do. I love Babbel because there are no ads on this, and I really appreciate the structure of the lessons. There are times when I catch myself getting hung up on pronunciation or spelling or something that I'm just not clicking with in the day, so I can stop and do something else and kind of like build my confidence back up and come back to something. I really appreciate that in there. Personally, it helps me a lot because I'm the type that gets stuck on things once in a while. But these lessons were created by actual teachers, whereas other apps, other language things are typically, from my understanding, created through like algorithms or AI development or AI structure in general. So these have a very natural feel to them, and I really do appreciate the ability to practice, to create dialogue or witness conversations and play. And I really like the funny scenarios too. Like, there's one scenario where this guy is like, has a crush on someone. He finds her muy linda, and he doesn't want to tell her that he has a son. So it's drama. It's super cute. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I also really love it because every time I start practicing, if my son is home, he will come over and be like, okay, yeah, like time to learn Spanish. He gets excited about it as well with me, and we have a lot of fun together, so it's something I'm actually using as part of our, I don't say homeschool curriculum, but as part of a little side thing for our homeschool, which is so helpful because I could never teach him Spanish, right? So it works out really good. If you click the link below, you will get 50% off for 6 months to use Babbel. And I just will share very honestly, like, I really do enjoy it. I'm having, like I said, a lot of fun with it. And it's very easy to use, and it's on your phone, and your phone is with you all the time, and a little alarm pops up and lets you know it's time for your lesson. And I'm really enjoying it. So if you're looking to learn a language, I would 100% check out Babbel, whether you want to refresh from classes you took before, or if you plan to travel when this quarantine is lifted and we're able to travel again, or you want to expand your social circle. And my Spanish speaking friends all speak English, but I don't want to be left out of like the sass between my girlfriends, So I really am hoping that when I do see them again, I can like flex a little on what I've been practicing. Thank you so much to Babbel for sponsoring this video, and we'll get into our session. All right, let's calm down. I was making some jokes. Jokes are good, but I want to relax now. So let's just soothe, center ourselves, remind ourselves why we're here, right? We're looking to develop the self, perhaps, or we're looking to simply relax and maybe chew on some ideas or just kind of enjoy the ASMR triggers in general, right? But let's start with our intention through our candle, which I have right here. And I'm so glad most of you comment that the air doesn't bother you. We had a Patreon live stream earlier today and talking about like Reiki sweats, because you do start to sweat when you're doing Reiki a lot, and I always feel it running down the back of my leg when I'm making these videos. That's probably too much information, but it happens, you know? So let's light our candle, set our intention here, and cool it down a little bit, right? On behalf of your and my and everyone else's highest and greatest good, in perfect comfort and alignment. Our intention today is to support the subconscious, to support the energetic system, to support the emotional body and the mental bodies through the development of awareness and considerations revolving around or tied to essentially emotional intelligence, EQ. Developing your emotional awareness is certainly an advantage. It really is. I do have some speaking little bullet points I want to cover, because I think there's 3 key parts to this that I'd love to share with you and give you some ideas about. But basically, when we speak of emotional intelligence, excuse me, sorry if I look a mess today. Okay, there we go. When we speak of emotional intelligence, obviously the first area that we can most effectively connect with is that of the self. Realizing what you're feeling and why you're feeling it and looking into it, it's such an important factor in the personal development of each individual and navigating their path, because in this realm, in Earth realm, we are at an almost disadvantaged sometimes from our emotions, because they're chemical, they're fleeting, they're guiding, and they're an advantage on the other hand, but they can also throw us off. We can be manipulated by our emotions, and just in general, they're very powerful, right? It's a very powerful thing if taken as truth. Oh my gosh, I'm stipping. My words are so messed up. What you feel always is truth to you. It's your feeling, but it can mislead you from the true truth. You know what I'm trying to say? Like getting a crush on someone, and in your body you have feelings. In your stomach you have butterflies, and you're this and that, right? You're just like excited. You're excited about what you're also kind of playing out in your head of what you think this crush might be like, or whatever. Like you're getting excited, and then what might happen is you start kind of like acting in different ways because, and this wouldn't be every case obviously, but just as an example, acting in different ways because of these feelings that you feel. But maybe when you actually do get to go out with your crush, or you do somehow connect with them, you realize like, oh wow, they're kind of a jerk, or oh, they're very different. We're on very different levels, very different wave levels and stuff. And then those feelings, kind of like dissipate, right? Or go away. But in that period, in that moment, or rather that time period of being excited and having these emotional feelings kind of in regard to something or someone, you may have been acting different. You may have been distracted. You may have been obsessive. You may have been acting or doing things in ways that were guided, pulled through by your emotions, while at the same time, excuse me, I'm just gonna put this down. While at the same time, I'm not trying to say that we wouldn't want to have emotions and feelings and get crushes, right? But they can pull us in different directions, or they can influence our judgment, right? So we always will need logic and empathy, or logic and intuition. They have to be together. They have to support one another. But feelings kind of take it into this like whole other realm, right? It's very instinctual. It becomes very much like the reality so intensely for us at the time. But then it changes, because feelings are like waves, right? Or emotions are like waves, I guess is a better way to say it. And they come in, the tide comes in, and they fade out. Or they go up and they feel good, and you're like, ooh, yes. And then they drop down and you feel like crap, and you gotta wait for that next tide to come back in to balance you out. Like, it's just something that deserves our awareness, truly. And to become a master of your emotional state, and I don't mean to say we should turn off our emotions, I don't mean anything like that, but to become aware of them, to know what they make you do and what having a crush makes you do, or the patterns that you fall into when you're experiencing a certain emotion, can be just so tremendously beneficial for you as an individual. On the other hand, sometimes we might not be a very emotional person, right? Or like, we might not feel as deeply, if we want to tie it to astrology, an Aries might not feel as deeply as a Pisces, like kind of thing. I'm being like super general, of course, but I hope you know what I'm trying to say. And therefore, having, let's say, as an Aries, or as someone who is less emotional than a water sign, perhaps, having an awareness that like, wow, like other people feel more deeply, or people are very influenced by their emotions, and being able to recognize that in other people can be such a skill in being a good friend, and being a good partner, and being a good parent, and really acknowledging people's emotions, validating them, holding space with them or for them in general, and working more of it from a like removed state. Like, now we're kind of in this like other people area of emotions, right? And then an area that, I'm sorry that I'm just launching this all at you, but I want to talk and then move into the session. So I appreciate you for listening. If you are listening, leave me like some water emojis if you're listening. Okay. To this part now, like, skip ahead to the Reiki starts at whatever. I get it, but but in general, there's a other key piece here that I really wanted to talk about, and that is the fact that people can understand emotions and use that to support others, but they can also use it to manipulate other people. So it's really important to have a high emotional intelligence, so that you know your own feelings, and you can catch people when they're trying to make you feel a certain way, when they're trying to tap into your emotions in a certain way, whether it's through the media, or through movies, or something poetic and beautiful and romantic, or something more manipulative, like your boss trying to emotionally guilt you into staying late every night, or going beyond your title or your job description and stuff like that. Are they playing you on an emotional level? Are they getting you pizza and like making it seem like this pizza because you stayed late is this like offering because they really care about you? Or are they manipulating you and you're like, I see what the frick you're doing, I'm not going to be played like that. I'm not going to be played like that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, all of this is like really important. I'm not going to keep talking about this right now. I'm going to move into our session, but I just thought it was something that I would encourage you to do some more research on. I'm sure there is a plethora of emotional intelligence videos here on YouTube to do more research. And this now, what we're moving to right now, is the energy work portion to support your own studies, your own introspection, your journaling, the work that you do for yourself to understand how this plays into your life, and to use it as a strength and not something that can be used as something that to manipulate you, basically. There's such power in the emotions, and even the state of the states right now, and of course the world right now, is heavily influenced by the fact that we are able to watch videos and see videos of things that's influencing our emotions, and it's fueling essentially the fire, or fueling the momentum in people. So there's a benefit and a something to be wary of as well in all of this. How funny it goes off when I'm done now. But anyway, I hope that you enjoy, and thanks for listening to my little spiel there on that chat. So I have this blue kyanite because blue kyanite is incredibly balancing. This is one that I recommend very often for like jewelry or the pocket piece, something that you can have with you often, because it's just such a stabilizing mineral if you're into crystals anyway. So this will help you get that like baseline, that kind of like standard feeling of alignment, so that you're able to kind of stay in the space, not go too far up or too far down in general, but also just like get used to what your baseline is, essentially, to be able to recognize when you're going one way or the other as well. More of a like chunky raw piece, but of course they have much more gemmy pieces that make beautiful pieces of jewelry. Cabochons. I'm just gonna set this around our little candle over here. I also brought out this clear quartz for clarity, for seeing, for understanding, and of course clear quartz is incredibly programmable. So if you have a piece for yourself, even if it's not as gorgeous as this, like this is unreal, right? Just extra pretty. But having something like this with you throughout your day and programming it, assigning it the task of helping you to identify your emotions, helping you to understand them in other people, to serve and act in ways that support the emotional well-being of others. This is so important. You can get so much further in your relationships and all of this if you're willing to really empathize and understand what someone else is experiencing. I don't mean get further, but I mean like form better connections, form more lasting and I don't want to say predictable, but stable, stable. Have you ever experienced someone who just gets you? You know what I mean? Like someone who just gets you because they understand you on an emotional level. They know what your triggers are. They know just different stuff about you in general, and how much you treasure them as a friend or as an ex or as a partner or anything like that. So I'm going to be using this one, but I wanted to set it down for now. I've also got this, what is this called? Polychrome jasper, something like that. Polychrome jasper, I believe. It almost looks like picture jasper, but nonetheless it is a jasper, and they all have a very similar vibe for the most part. which is stabilizing, which is nurturing, supportive, and this can be a wonderful one to help you balance your emotions as well. Not to, like, again, numb, it's not what we're talking about, but just to stabilize, tap into your creative energy, be guided by your emotions, but not in such a way where we have these like chemical reactions, right? Those chemical reactions, even Ashtara was talking about this recently on YouTube, and I'm sorry, Instagram, and I was like, oh, Jesus, like I was literally thinking about that, but she related it to like dopamine and like stabilizing your dopamine levels and stuff. And I was thinking of it more as just like the chemical reactions emotions cause in us. And like it's fun. It's fun. It's what being alive is about. But it's not necessarily serving all the time if it's too much or if it's too buzzy or if it's not enough as well. And we all have our days, we all go up and down. But I thought that this was a nice one. I can't stand how much space is over my head, so I'm just gonna tilt you down a little. Sorry. There we go. Makes such a big difference, right? So much better. Then I have chrysocolla, which is an absolutely gorgeous stone. And this one is wonderful for heart-based communication, solving problems, and I just thought that this would be a nice addition to the ability to communicate, to express, to think in ways that are compassionate regarding your own emotional level as well as that of others around you. These are so pretty. Oh, like what is it, right? I find this stone to be a little bit punchy, personally. So while I wouldn't say it's like buzzy, it's not like, for me anyway, we're all different. I don't find it to be like the most relaxing. I feel like it supports expression and thought, so it kind of stimulates a little bit. But let me know how you feel about chrysocolla. And then this one I brought out a few times recently, but it's just perfect. This is a piece of cubic fluorite, which I guess all fluorite is technically pretty cubic, but you can see the raw cube formations here. And I really wanted to bring in fluorite specifically for a protected mental field, for the ability to bring in a lot of logic, a lot of making sense of things into the work that we're doing today. This is another one I would definitely say makes a great pendant or ring or pocket stone, because very often, having clear thoughts is always a good thing, I guess. And I find fluorite really supports that. So I'm gonna use my cute little dish and this pine that I can't get enough of. This was gifted to me by Angela Mary Magic. She's just a cutie. And we're going to just let this burn a bit. There we go. Starting to burn. Takes a sec, right? Once it gets a little charred. So quiet. Smoke to clear the confusion, to clear emotional blockages. To clear manipulation as well. I was just watching one of Tyler's Silverhair's videos earlier today, and he kind of was talking about manipulation as well in gift giving, you know. Just want to get it going. Sorry. You guys have a lot of helicopters by you now too. So my intention with this clear quartz is to pierce through, I say pierce, is to comb through, pierce through the etheric form, to perforate, to create opportunities for movement, for release, for taking in as well as release, taking in and release, taking in and release of, again, manipulation, blockages that you may have regarding how you feel about emotions. If you think, let's say, that they make you weak or that they are a disadvantage, then we may suppress them, right, as an example. So we're going to use this for a little psychic surgery and just allow that release, the taking in, this movement of energy to clear what serves you, honoring, of course, your free will. But let's assign our free will, the decision, if you're open to it, of course, to our higher selves to determine what we're ready to let go of, what we're ready to shift, particularly in regard to how we feel about our emotional bodies, reactions. Right. Just gonna change the focus for you here. We're gonna carve through, move through, dot, 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 dot. Focusing on the etheric form, the emotional form, the mental form, all these levels, basically, all these frequencies. Creating these little spaces where things can level out, can temper, can move. Little grooves. So my intention here is focused kind of in the throat area. Moving down to the sacral as well. Someone asked me recently how chords were formed, and it's pretty easy to imagine how they might form through like intimacy, lovers, or family relationships. Like you're connected, right? So you imagine a chord anyway, like makes sense. But what about the like random people? What about the other people? And I started to think that perhaps it's an emotional kind of place where it gets started. So has anyone made you feel a certain way? Even if it's just like the guy at the newsstand that you get your coffee from in the morning, and there's like a warm smile and you see him every day, or that kind of thing, or once in a while even, but you start to form a chord because there's this connection or emotional connection that you might share, even if it's just the emotion of morning coffee. But it starts to form something. Or, someone who may have made you feel bad or made you feel in any way, a negative or uncomfortable emotion, and thereby perhaps another chord is formed. So we're just clearing here, clearing in the sacral. Any unnecessary kind of like emotional attachments, emotional like lingering stuff. Of course, only what your higher self deems worthy of release. And of course, I'm just making these little perforations and lines. The spray, the Sacred Copal. I'm going to use this on my hands. Oh. We're going to do some gentle pulling and plucking, and just letting whatever needs to come out, blockage, belief, even for some of you, don't get mad. I'm hearing obsession in my head, the kind of feelings we feel which lead to obsessive behaviors. And if it's not serving you, and if you're ready to release that, just let it go. And pull, and pull, and move, and comb to release. Same with the sacral area. So gentle, so gentle. Perfect love and comfort. Perfect comfort and alignment. Focus on the space of memories. I want to focus on the space of memories and channel through, connecting with the frequencies of emotional intelligence and activations of this comprehension to help things make more sense for us, to help our navigation, to understand what our memories are triggering, right? And will we let that fuel our revolution, or will we let that keep us small or insecure, So, of course, we want empowerment. I'm seeing some statues, almost like a sarcophagus that's standing up, so it looked like a statue at first, like a mummy. What are we hiding in these chambers in our minds? Is it honor, Is it something that tunes us into our pride and our empowerment? Or is it something that makes us feel weak, Some frailty? A little more. We're just going to do some channeling. Turning into higher intelligence, turning into mental and emotional activations. Calling in the witnessing of these experiences, the understanding of how they impact us or influence us. To set intentions of releasing manipulation, manipulative like hooks. I'm seeing like shrimp. Channeling through to the sacral, the lower abdominal area. Placing one hand near the throat, one near the sacral. Switching polarities. switching the circuit. It's very as above, so below, so as below, so above here, right? There's a connection between emotions and thought for many of us. As a Cancerian, I'm often seen sometimes as someone who overly explains things, or it's very hard sometimes to have certain types of confrontations in like my personal life, perhaps because I'm so concerned with how other people feel, because I can empathize and I never want to insult and I never want to hurt, right? Especially obviously people I care about. And I feel like that might be annoying sometimes, but also it really helps me to form really beautiful relationships, even if I don't see them often. Bridging the emotion to logic, bridging the deep feeling to understanding. Right. The spray smells so good. Just fluffing up your aura, making it thick and fluffy, cozy. Weaving. Alright. Feels great. I hope this supports you on your journey. Hope it gives you some food for thought or some things to think about. Sometimes it's only a word we need to hear, right? To kind of like bring something in, you know? So I hope, again, that it supports you and that you enjoyed. I want to thank Beppel again for being the sponsor, and you for letting me share a little piece of your path tonight. From the very, very, very bottom of my heart, I bow to the divine within you, within me, to this magic, this connection, this energy, this love, this source that we share, that we are all a part of. Alright, so much love to you, and namaste.